Gun safes, one of the most confusing industries in the United States of America. Or that was up until I did the first video on this channel related to gun safes. I titled it Gun Safes, The Truth. And when that video came out, it rocked the gun safe industry in the United States of America. It helped all of us as consumers because I laid out the truth about the differences in gun safes and what you're really paying for as a consumer. It changed the way the manufacturers make their products and how they advertise their products. That one video had a huge impact on the gun safe industry. I'm very proud of that video. This video that you're about to see is going to be even better. I've waited and waited to bring this video to you because what I've done is I've researched all of the gun safe manufacturers in America over the past 2 years. I've interviewed them, I've called them, I know the stuff inside and out now. And I said my second video related to gun safes has to be with a reputable gun safe manufacturer made in America, 100% American made, and complete transparency, meaning you, the consumer, knows exactly what you're paying for, whether it's the steel or the fire rating, the quality of the safe, can anyone break in or not? You will know after we take this journey into gun safes made in America. I'm flying from Fort Lauderdale in this video to my buddy, now good friend, business associate named Tony in California. And I literally went through over 100 manufacturers to find Tony. And I found the best. The reason why I can say that and be bold with this statement is because no one else does what Tony does, and now partnered with me in Armory Express Outlet. The link is below. All of the safes are below and they are custom. That is the key. The key word is custom. For you, the consumer, plus prices, internet prices. Low prices. The days of walking into a big store and buying a shiny box that looks really nice because you're all excited and you see that shiny box and you want it at home, those days are over. Because there's too much involved with a gun safe. You're putting your valuables, I shouldn't call it a safe, I should just call it a vault, because you're putting your valuables in it. Whether it's $5,000 worth of valuables or $500,000 worth of valuables, you have to determine the quality and the amount of steel you want to put into that safe. And you also have to realize how they're made. And that's why I found my business affiliate relationship here to be perfect for you. So the link is below. We're going to go on a journey and see how they're made from scratch from the man who will actually make your safe and deliver it right to your door. You have to go to the link below. The phone number's above. You have to go through ArmoryExpressOutlet.com. And you have to call the phone number above, come through us, and we will get you the best internet price and get this safe custom made for you according to whatever you're putting in that vault. If it's a lot of money, we'll layer it up with steel. If it's just something you need for like $1,800 or something, so be it. Whatever it might be, it's all custom for you. I'm very proud to bring this to you. So we're going to fly from Fort Lauderdale and we're going to land in California right now, and let's go right to the shop. I went right to the source and let's see how they're made. Welcome to WeaponsEducation.com. I'm with the owner, the man who makes the safes by hand, from scratch, all custom. Meet Tony, my affiliate, my friend. How long have you been making safes? 20 years?
Good lifetime.
Boy, so imagine if you've done the same thing day in and day out for a good 20 years. You'd get pretty good at that trade. And Tony, I literally went through hundreds of safe makers to get the relationship you and I have. You are the only person in America that makes these types of quality safes and vaults. We're about to go see how they're made from scratch. What an interesting video this is going to be. But you're the only man in America that does this, because I researched it. 100% American made, and everyone's going to learn the truth about safes in this video. Before you spend your hard-earned money, watch this whole video, ranging from $1,600 up to the sky's the limit, depending on how much money you're putting in your safe. This is the finished product. Tony's going to talk a little bit about these, and then we're going to go see how they're made. So first of all, you got 3 series of safes. Correct, Tony?
We do. We have a Silver Eagles that's based on the 10-gauge body with a 1/4-inch front plate on the door. It is 1,650 degrees fireproof for up to 90 minutes. It can come in either a textured paint, which is much like this, or gloss for a little bit optional, a little bit higher grade. We also have a 7-gauge safe. That's our Golden Eagle series safe. That's going to be a 7-gauge body, all bent body construction. Also has a 2-inch step system door, much like this one, where you have a 2-inch step system. The first plate here is usually a 1/4-inch plate. This also has a 10-gauge back behind it, and it encompasses ceramic fireproofing and 2 layers of C-rate fireboard. We also go on to the 1/4-inch, which is going to be the Golden Eagle series. The Golden Eagle series is going to be a 1/4-inch body all the way around, and we use 2 1/4-inch plates of steel in the door in order to make a composite that is truly fireproof and impenetrable.
I have a question, Tony. The first video I did showed the whole world the truth about gun safes. It's got over 1.5 million views at the timing of this video, and we all learned as a whole from that video, and we're going to learn more from this video, that the competition, the people who sell in the big box stores, do not advertise properly. You really do not know what you're getting from the competition. Well, you just mentioned all these different gauges of steels and things like that. We're going to go inside and see how your custom safes are made. But the truth is, it's all about the steel. Is that right?
It is. Steel equals security. The more steel you have between your valuables and the bad guy or malicious activities, the more secure you are.
And the competition really doesn't, they have a lot of fluff in their advertising.
You're going to get a great paint job on most of them, but they're using the thinnest steel allowable by the Department of Justice and by the UL.
And most of them have 12-gauge steel, right? And the higher the number, the thinner the steel.
That's correct.
All of yours, the minimal you use is what's called 10-gauge.
10-gauge, which is 2 steps thicker than the 12-gauge that you get in your normal big box stores.
Right.
And I go all the way up to 1-inch solid steel. That's obviously a custom product, but 1/4-inch is a regular thing here. We do that in our Golden Eagle series safes all the time.
Right, and what people are going to realize is that with your custom-made safes, they are getting internet prices,
That's
a
correct.
lower cost. The safes that we're about to go look at, for instance, if one costs $4,000 here, I know would cost $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 for the same quality from big name brands, right?
We do low production, high quality at a moderate price that anyone can afford.
Yeah, no one can beat your prices and quality. Let's just look at this inside real quick. Then we're going to go in the shop and see how they're made. We're going to talk about everything from all the redundant lock systems and different ways to get in and out of your safe. Beautiful. So this is what's on the right-hand side. What's on your left-hand side here?
Well, it's empty on this side.
And of course, the inside of the safe is 100% custom. So the customer ultimately designs their own safe with you.
Absolutely. We can build any interior that they're looking for out of any thickness of steel and almost any level of fireproofing, depending on what it is you're trying to lock up and secure. We can set it up for guns, papers, jewelry, diamonds, gems, anything that you may have that you want safe and secure, we can build for you. But on the bigger picture is 99% of everything that we build is custom sized and custom built specifically for the customer itself.
Right, so the size is up to their, wherever it goes in their house, all American made, every single part. A lot of the work, you've got to see about 18 to 25 workers here. You got a big operation going on here. And let's get into it. Let's move on. Let's go into the shop and let's get into the nitty-gritty of really what's involved with building a gun safe from scratch. Let's go do that right now.
You got it, Tom. Let's go.
Hey, Tony, before we go inside, show me how you're going to slam shut that door.
You know, the tolerances in a lot of the box stores, they're going to build a good half-inch tolerance between the door and the body. My doors are hand cut and hand fit. They're about as airtight as you can get. Hear that?
Do that again. It's just amazing how tight that is. I felt the air from back here. So, tolerances is huge.
Can't fit a dime in there.
You were telling me if you put too much paint sometimes it's going to be too tight, right?
Too much paint becomes a problem. If we do a gloss coat like this and it gets too many layers of paint, we have to sand it back down and start over because the doors will rub on the frame.
That's good. It's tight as a clam. I want to insert this portion here because unless you see a comparison of what we just showed you, you really have a hard time grasping it. This is a Fort Knox safe that I purchased about 10 years ago. Honestly, do regret it. It was just over $4,000. Nice and shiny, but look at this. Huh? Smash. Every time I close this thing, I'm thinking, what did I buy? I mean, look at the gap right here. It's huge. I can almost put my finger through it, and it's not airtight. So a lot of heat can get in there if there's a fire, and this puppy is definitely being sold with this house, which is for sale. I don't even want this thing anymore. I want the real deal. When you're buying a safe, you want to leave all your precious belongings beyond to your beneficiaries, your children, and you want to leave them in a vault that will last generations. Now, let's go inside. We're inside the shop, and we are going to start from stage one of how a custom-made, American-made safe is built. Tony, show us what you got here.
First things first, all American-made, high-grade steel, prime quality. We take the steel and it's cut first on a 1947 Cincinnati shear. This is capable of cutting 12 feet of 3/8, and we also have the ability to cut up to 1-inch solid steel.
Wow.
Once the steel is cut properly, we come over to the Cincinnati shear where we can bend up to 1/4 inch and 10 feet lengths. We also have the ability to bend 1/2 inch solid steel for all of our frames and safe bodies. Safe bodies are typically built all in one piece, all the way around from one side, the back to the opposite side. We do full length welds when we cap the top and the bottom.
Yeah, not spot welding, right?
No spot welding. We can do, I don't like spot welding. A lot of the companies out there will spot weld. They'll do a little 1-inch spot weld in every foot. It's called a 1 in 12. And what they'll do is they'll Bondo in the corners. Unfortunately, it's real easy to pry. It's real easy to hit with a hammer, break those spot welds, and open up your safe. They call it popping and prying.
And yours?
You cannot. I do
Awesome.
a full-length weld inside, full-length weld outside, everywhere that there's a seam.
And let's talk about different thicknesses of steel. And in your right hand there, Tony, I know from my first video, I've spoken to literally, this is the truth to my audience, I spoke to thousands of people about safes they spent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on, and they didn't realize they got a real thin gauge steel with a pretty paint job on it. But a lot of people, I did save them a lot of money, and this is really going to save people the most money. But that thin steel, come on.
12 gauge is the minimum required by the Department of Justice and by the UL in order to call it a safe. Anything thinner than that, you're dealing with a cabinet. The thinner steel, it's junk.
It's junk. And you can, what kind of axe would go right through that?
Fire axe would go right through and split it open wide, so you could just simply reach right on in and grab whatever it is you need to take out.
So your minimal steel.
I start with a 10 gauge as my absolute minimum on our Silver Eagle series safes. They go 10 gauge, all bent body construction with a 1/4 inch plate door. We also go to a 7 gauge,
thicker,
and a 1/4 inch, and can build 1/2 inch all the way up to a solid inch.
Awesome.
This
now that's for
particular
commercials.
safe-
That's for commercial, like banks and, right?
I can build vault doors that way, the fronts of your safe, all the way around the back of your safe. Can't bend that, it's a little thick to bend. But I can put together all 5 walls of that, and the door can be just as thick. This particular safe is a 1/4 inch bent body. You can see the bend in it, and you can see the layers of fireproofing. This is a 2300 degree max fire ceramic fire blanket and 3 layers of C-rate fireboard. The C-rate fireboard is better than an X-rate fireboard because in the case of a fire, when it heats up, C-rate fireboard won't release a steam into your safe. If somebody's using just a regular basic fireboard, which is an X-rate, it's a water-based material and it will steam your weapons and your pictures and your jewelry, and everything can be basically beat.
Yeah, a friend of mine had a fire in Boca Raton, Florida. All of his watches melted on the inside. High-end stuff, too.
hate to hear
Yeah,
it,
and
but
homeowners
it
didn't
off.
help them too much. So yeah, fireproofing's important. Now with the inside of this here, if the customer wants, they can put another layer of steel,
We
correct?
can also do up to 4 layers inside the steel. We can do the 10 gauge, 7 gauge, or 1/4 inch inside. We can also use stainless steel and AR 500 plate inside the safe.
So it's
All American made, high quality, low volume production. We build one at a time. You don't see an assembly line here. We build each safe by hand. The doors are hand cut and custom fit, and the entire safe can be built to your standards.
yeah, and another layer of steel even on the inside, which would be, am I correct? That would then be labeled a vault.
It is a vault. That's when you have 2 layers of steel. It is actually a composite, but it is considered a vault because it's a steel layer inside and out.
Awesome. So now we know a little bit more about steel.
After your safe or your vault door is completely fireproofed and welded, it comes over here to our paint station, where you can see it starts out as a raw metal material, and then it starts to get a little bit of body work done on any grind marks or any abrasions that may have happened during the cutting and bending process.
Okay.
And we come around the corner, where you can see these have already been sanded out and primered, and these are ready for paint. Then they go into the paint booth where they will actually get, whether you're doing a gloss paint or a textured paint, they're going to get finished complete just before they get locks and hardware, pinstripe, and everything else included.
Awesome, Tony. I got a question talking about paint. Can we look at this door right here and explain what this is all about? Because that's brand new, but tell me about
Pastucha, famous for the artwork on the Titanic in the movie, has built this beauty for us. We built this as a Titan Series 1 in solid steel front plate door with a 1/2 inch frame. It is perfectly it's perfect. It's never going to rust, but the finish looks exactly like it's 300 years old. This is also going to get hand pinstriped above this, and then we'll age the pinstriping to make it look like it's really ancient.
And the customer wanted that.
We work with only top of the line and world-class custom painters and pinstripers. They're the best there are.
Right, and the customer, I was getting at, they want this look for a game room, I believe you said?
This is going into a game room. It's going to be with carts that came out of mines, old coal mines and gold mines, and he wants the old rustic look, like everything's really old.
And the man who does your painting, one of them, like you said, did work on the Titanic, the movie?
His name is Ron Pastucha, and Ron is he's phenomenal, man. I mean, he just makes things like this. This is perfectly protected against rust, but it looks like it's already 300
So you can
years old.
pretty much do anything, high gloss, whatever they want.
Anything you're looking for, we'll find a way to make it happen.
Let's go talk about your bolt work.
You got it.
Tony, I'm going to ask you to explain your bolt systems, but I also want to make this point right now. When we put our hard-earned money into a safe, we're obviously doing it because we don't want no one to get in it.
That's correct.
And we don't want nothing to burn.
That's correct.
And we want American-made, and we want custom. And I know a lot of people, my friends, the people in the audience, they spend good money on guns, like I can think of Les Baer or Wilson Combat, because they like the handmade, the custom-made. And now tell me about your bolt system and why yours is superior than that stuff that's sold in those big box stores. Go for it.
When you're buying your Perazzi's, your Krieghoffs, your Les Baers, you want something that's going to be just as valuable as that in order to protect them. A lot of safes that you're going to find in the big box stores are going to be, well, like we said, they're going to be a thin skin. They're going to have some small bolts. A lot will actually have the bigger size bolt, the 1.5 inches around. Very few are actually going to include a 4-inch bolt. The locking bolt itself is going to create a fulcrum between the rail and the penetrating point where somebody may want to pry it. The longer your bolt is, and the more bolt is actually inside up against your bolt mechanism, the stronger the door is. Now the bolts aren't the whole story. The other story is, what do they lock behind? This particular safe has a 3/4 inch solid steel frame right here. This is a 1/2 inch solid piece with a 10 gauge backing on a 1/4 inch body. So you have 3/4 inches of steel right here. And that's what your bolts are going to lock behind.
Yeah, let's close that one again and lock her up. And everything just locked all around.
Absolutely.
And here's one here. Let's look at this
This is a
one.
4-way bolt locking system. These bolts are a little bit smaller around, but all independently rotating, so that if somebody is trying to cut a bolt, they're just simply going to spin. It's not ever going to cut. You can do a 3-way or 4-way bolt system on just about anything, including vault doors. And again, steel equals security. The more you got, the more secure you are.
There you go. I'm going to pop a couple of questions at you.
Absolutely.
What about humidifier? Of course, that's important.
Gotta have it. If you're gonna have any type of weapons, film, microfilm, electronics, paperwork, anything that you're putting inside your safe, you want protected against moisture. And a dehumidifier, I usually use a goldenrod, but a dehumidifier is a must in order to stop any rust on your weapon.
Yeah, what I've learned is there's 4 ways generally to break into a safe. One is they're going to try to steal the whole safe, so they're going to want to probably bolt it down.
Absolutely bolt it down.
And installation's going to come up. That's such a private thing because everyone lives in different types of homes. They're going to talk to you about that on the phone.
You can move big safes, even like this is about a 3,000-pound safe. I can move this across your tile floors without cracking a tile. It just really depends on the situation, where it has to go, your floors, the weight of the safe, and you gotta really work with the guy who's doing your install.
Yeah.
He'll usually bolt it down. We can usually put some good advice in you and send you the right guys that'll do the right job.
And of course, you ship nationwide and worldwide. The way people break in is actually prying the door, which we pretty much covered that, right? That's not going to happen with your safe.
Simply not going to happen. You can barely get your fingernail between the door and the body. You can't fit a dime in there. If you're going to put a screwdriver in there and pound it in with a hammer, all you're going to do is bend it and break the tip off.
And then they can try to cut the body of the wall. They can actually try to cut into it.
We can use, again, the steel thicknesses, all American made steel from 10 gauge, 7 gauge, quarter-inch, all the way up to 1-inch solid.
They're not
also
getting through
put
that.
several layers of steel, stainless steel, and AR-500 plate inside your safe as well to stop. It's kind of fun because they might get through that first outer layer and they think they've got somewhere, and then they hit that secondary layer and a third layer and the AR-500 and the stainless steel. At some point they give up, or it just takes forever.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And then torches is very rare, but we know they're not going to burn into one of yours.
Stainless steel penetrates. You can't penetrate stainless steel if you go with a 1/4 inch with any type of a torch. It readily dissipates the heat, and it can't be cut by a torch.
Yeah, and I want to also bring this up. Fire ratings by the competition it's very complicated. There's all different types of fire ratings, but the bottom line is your 2,300 degrees type of product, that ceramic product you use, is I said this before. I'm going to say it again. The products on the inside of your safes are not going to burn.
The NFPA, the National Fire Protection Agency, basically states that your common house fire burns for about 56 minutes at about 1,380 degrees. Most safes are rated for 30 minutes at 1,200 degrees. You lose on both the temperature rating and the duration. My safes start at 90 minutes at 1,650 degrees and will surpass 90% of all house fires.
Perfect. Custom lighting, of course. That thing's going to, like opening up a refrigerator, it'll be very bright inside.
Absolutely. We can also include the lighting systems as well as full electrical so that the lights go on as soon as you open the door.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is have a flashlight over your shoulder trying to get to your gun or valuables. And I tell you, the warranty, this is huge.
I'm a lifetime guy. I build a monument. I want you to have it for the rest of your life and love it and pass it down to your kids. Manufacturer's defect, fire, and break-in are all covered 100%.
You also make complete safe rooms, correct?
I do.
And you also make those doors for a safe room. Just briefly explain that.
If you're building a walk-in vault for tornado purposes, if you're building a walk-in vault for your weapon storage, or if you're building just a safe room or panic room, we build vault doors that are in-swinging, out-swinging, left hinge, right hinge, and again, we have a myriad of different thicknesses of steel, anywhere from 1/2 inch, 1 inch, up to 2-inch solid steel if you really want to go there.
And the last thing I want to touch on is EMP plus locking mechanisms. If you can kindly shut that door, please.
You got it.
So, different ways to get in to your own safe. Let's please talk about that.
Dial combination locks are absolutely EMP proof. They're a mechanical lock. They're the standard in the industry. They're never going to break. Of course, if somebody's going to hit it with a hammer, you can break it. At that point, you're going to need a locksmith to help you get into it. We also offer 2 different types of digital locks. We offer the LA Guard digital lock, also American made. And that's a big thing with me. All of my locks that I sell are American made. This is a 2-user lock. It comes with a master code and a user code so that you can use a master code and change the combinations at will. And you can set up a user code that just simply for anyone you trust in and out of your safe. Then we
Okay.
go to a little bit higher line we go to the S&G or Sargent and Greenleaf. Now this is a digital lock that's EMP proof up to 50,000 volts. It's been tested. It's UL listed as a Group 1 lock, which is a lot more man hours of manipulation in order to defeat the lock itself.
And then, of course, they can simply just get both, right?
Well, we do a redundant lock as well, which is both a digital and a dial operating the same lock. So you can use the digital function all the time unless an EMP or a battery dies or some sort of a failure to the digital lock. You can always get into it with a dial.
Lifetime warranty, and I'm very proud to be affiliated with Tony. Class Act, all American made.
Thank you, Tom.
You're going to love it, guys.